And you brought up the individual mandate. Let's quickly get that in before we go to a break. Facing a tax that is health care law in Massachusetts is essentially the same as the president's when that happened. Mitt Romney has argued that he backed an individual mandate in Massachusetts, but not for the country as a whole. Here's what Romney said, making that argument at a debate in June.
Ours was a state plan, a state solution, and if people don't like it in our state, they can change it. That's the nature of why states are the right place for this type of responsibility.
But now conservatives are pointing to a 2009 op-ed by Romney,
where
he called on President Obama to adopt an individual health care mandate. In the USA Today piece, Romney suggested the president could learn from the plan he enacted as governor of Massachusetts, writing in part, quote, "First, we established incentives for those who were uninsured to buy insurance using tax penalties, as we did, or tax credits, as others have proposed.
Can you believe
Encourages
this?
free riders to take responsibility for themselves rather than pass their medical costs on to others."
Willie, can you believe this? I mean, seriously. This is all the Republican Party's been talking about for 2 years. They are about to nominate a guy. They have a choice. They can nominate a guy who wrote Obamacare.
He got tons of endorsements over the weekend.
Yeah, so they can. So Republicans now have the choice.
Ohio Papers.
Yeah, and Tom Coburn.
Coburn.
So now Republicans have basically 3 choices. They can vote for a guy that basically drafted Obamacare, something that they have campaigned against for 3 years. A guy that wants to debate about contraceptives, or Newt Gingrich, who is Newt Gingrich. That's all I got to say. And then there's Ron Paul, who maybe should just run as an independent.
And doesn't want to help hurricane victims.
Don't want to help hurricane victims.
What?
Can we just turn the lights off? It's over.
Yeah.
Let's go to Barbados
Let's
for
just
a
go to
year.
tape.
Well, the
rest of the morning.
The white
Can you believe the Republicans are left with these choices?
It's going to be okay. Someone will emerge somehow, someday. Don't worry.
The white knight scenario is over. Do we agree on that? The white knight's not coming. So
I guess
it's over, right? Didn't we decide that after Michigan?
I don't know.
There's still
This individual mandate stuff is such a killer.
So it's a question we've talked about a lot. Will Republicans swallow the pill and saying, Mitt Romney, I don't like Mitt Romney particularly, but he's better than President
Yes,
Obama?
they will.
Republicans will. The question is, will women, independents, Hispanic voters vote for him? And he's got the rest of the year, as far as I'm concerned, is can Mitt Romney do everything he needs to do to be in a position to have a chance? And that's a lot to do.
George W. Bush won in 2004 despite the fact his approval rating was under 50% because he could get conservatives that were true believers to knock on doors, to get on the phone, to talk to their friends in church, to drive people to polls, to drag people out of their place of work and say at lunch, come on, come vote with me. I need you, come vote with me. Who's going to do that for Mitt Romney?
Haley Barbour and Karl Rove at Crossroads.
They have no choice.
But that's from the top down. Bush won in 2004. And I know it's hard for people to believe in Manhattan because he had people from the bottom up who believed in him, who believed that it wasn't just about Bush, that it was about liberalism versus conservatism. It was about elites versus the working class. I mean,
grassroots.
It was grassroots personified, and we saw that with Ken Mehlman calling people all across America. They would have these, and people got engaged. That's how a pretty unpopular president got reelected. Mitt, is this going to happen? Who's going to do this for Mitt? Mitt can't even keep straight whether he's for an individual mandate or not.
Supreme Court made this, sometime in the middle of this campaign, judge it to be unconstitutional, which will change that debate. There's also still a chance for the economy to change for the worse, which could change the entire context for the Republicans. The other's the one foreign policy issue with the chance to intervene, which is Iran. So if you'll pardon the expression, there could be game changers in this election campaign that could fundamentally affect
very
us.
closely look at Mitt Romney's view on Iran as it differs from the president's as well. You should help us with that coming up. That's something to look at, too. too.
We need to talk about Iran. I got a quick question, though. And Richard, you've been around for a while, and Mark, you have too. You guys will remember. When's the last time the Republican Party's been this weak?
Well, I think January of 2009, they were pretty weak.
What do you think, Richard?
I think probably during the Clinton years, when he was such a dominant political force in America, and he was filling the political space dramatically.
I'll tell you what, I would go back to 1974. I remember election night 74. Democrats won everything. I don't think the Republican Party has been this bad off. Because even then, you could say, well, Haley's running the party. Even in 2009, you could say they're going to be able to, I don't know. This is a pathetic state that the party's in, and this has been about as bad a month as the Republican Party's had since August of 1974, when Nixon resigned. This is horrific, and it keeps getting worse.
Coming up this morning, we're going to talk to House Majority Leader Congressman Eric Cantor. Ask him if he agrees with this. Also, heads of Americans for Tax Reform, Grover Norquist, will join us. We'll bring in Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and in a few minutes, CEO of the National Urban League, Mark Morial, will be here. After the break, Politico's top stories of the morning, including Sarah Palin releasing her own version of Game Change, the movie. But first, here's Bill Cairns with a check on the forecast. Bill.
Well, good morning, Mika. Of course, the big story over the weekend was the tornado outbreak on Friday and Saturday morning. A surreal scene this morning. I want to show you pictures out of Henryville, Indiana. This is the area that was hit by the EF4 tornado with winds about 180 miles per hour. It snowed last night. They now have about 2 inches of snow on the ground in this area. Just incredible that now they have to deal with this. And that snow will be gone, but just surreal. So I don't know if I've ever remember seeing snow in areas that were just hit by a tornado. So let's show you the recap from the big tornado outbreak, one of the biggest ever in March history. 79 tornadoes is how many is estimated by Dr. Greg Forbes, a severe weather expert down at the Weather Channel. 43 of those are confirmed tornadoes, and we're going to get more confirmations over the next day or two. That area of snow, by the way, is now moving through West Virginia. It's going to move through areas of Virginia. Even Richmond is going to see some snow this morning before turning to rain showers this afternoon. It's a cold day. It's very much like winter in areas of the Northeast. The wind chill is really bad up through New England and the Great Lakes, but the warm weather is returning to the middle of the country, and that'll make its way to the East Coast by the middle of this week. Everyone's going to like that forecast, and I'm happy to report no tornado outbreaks are likely this week. We get a break from that, at least for now. You're watching Morning Joe on this Monday. We're brewed by Starbucks.